Hey guys, this is Taib again, and I have another one for you today. Basically, what I'm talking about today was birthed out of a really sharp rebuke I received from the Lord a couple of days ago. Now, let me tell you exactly what happened. I just moved out of my old house that I was renting to a new place, and my old landlord wasn't the nicest guy. Let me put it this way: like his behavior and actions leave little to be desired. And I'm being really nice here. All right. So basically, I moved out of that house, and miraculously God provided a new place for us. And it's just been an amazing journey. But we were all excited to move into the new place. And as soon as we moved to the new place, I became almost ungrateful, and I showed a lot of ingratitude, and my attitude was awful. It really, like, literally stunk. It's kind of depressing, just like being very casual, no care, just like, it's all right. I was just like showing no sign of excitement. I just moved into a new place, and instead of being like excited, I was just really, really just like ungrateful to be honest with you. So on Thursday of last week or Friday, maybe I was driving back home, and I started praying, and the Lord led me to John 5, the entire chapter from verse 1 to 18. And I read that passage in the past a few times, and this week it meant so much to me because, like God said, He disciplines whom He loves, and no discipline is pleasant at the time, but later on it leads to a harvest of righteousness for those who have been trained by it. And this is exactly what happened last week. So now I'm going to kind of give you the background on that chapter, and then we'll go into the questions, and I'll explain what I think God taught me last week. Now, again, it took me about 48 hours to like 72 hours. Even to this day, I'm still learning, and I had to get some help from Bill Crayer, who gave me some enlightenment on Sunday. I talked to him about it, and he said something that was very profound, and it kind of captured exactly what was going on in this passage. So now let me give you the background. So this is the background. It's in John 5, verse 1 to 18. So Jesus goes to Jerusalem by the ship gate, and there's a pool there called Bethesda. And that pool has like five of colonnades, and all and it's like a place of refuge for all the invalid, like blind, lame, and paralyzed. And they all come and they just lay there. And so basically, Jesus sees this man that has been like invalid for 38 years. And Jesus tells him, do you want to be healed? And we're going to get back to that question later on. And the guy tells him, well, I have no one to help me. It was believed that at the time the water was stirred by an angel, and everyone who was the first to step in the water got healed. So the guy tells Jesus, I have no one to help me. By the time I get to the water, somebody else take my spot, and I'm here by myself. I'm pretty much pitiful. There's no one to help me. I'm alone. I'm lonely, and all that comes with it. So he's pretty depressed. So, and Jesus asked him, do you want to be healed? Now, that day that Jesus healed him was the Sabbath. And that meant that technically, according to man rules, Jesus broke the Sabbath by doing this on the Sabbath day, because the man picked up his mat and was walking. And the Pharisees saw him, and they were like, it's unlawful for you to take up your bed and walk. And then the guy tell the Pharisees, the man who healed me told me to do so. And basically, Jesus sees the guy later on, and Jesus tells him, see, you are well now. Stop sinning, or something worse may happen to you. You could say, so that nothing worse may happen to you. So the man went away and told them Jesus did it. So he went from the man who healed me to Jesus did it, right? So now we're going to get to it. So the questions that I will consider are going to be this. And the title is, do you really want to be healed? Now, what was the significance of the sheep gate? And that's important to this passage here. Now, the sheep gate was the gate through which all the sheep intended for the sacrifices at the temple entered. It was only one way in, and once they were in, there was only one thing that they were waiting for, and that is death. And I put that in red here. So now let's see what Jesus says about himself in John 10:7-11. So Jesus again said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, I am the door of the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved and will go in and out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep." So ultimately, the sheep gate meant imminent death. That's what he meant for the sheep at the time. And how does that apply to those guys that were invalid? Now, remember, God always wants to give us a picture of what's going on there. These guys were like, basically, there was no one that cared for these people. They were, like I said, at the mercy of any good Samaritans. All these guys were waiting for was death because they had no hope and their lifestyle was centered around the sheep gate. Once they were into the five roof colonnades, there was little hope of them getting out, just like the sheep. So you can imagine what kind of emotions ran through their mind or head. They were angry, pitiful, depressed, lonely, everything that came with it. They just sat there and nobody cared. Basically, they were just dropped off there and they were told, "Look, goodbye, fend for yourself. I am done," because they couldn't do anything. They were invalid. That's what the word meant, invalid. Now, you see, if you look at this thing here that I talked about earlier, when Jesus said, "I am the door, and if anyone enters by me, he will be saved and will go in and out." Now, the sheep, there was only one way in for the sheep. Once they were in there, they could not get out. All the sheep were waiting for was death. In the same way, there was little hope for these guys. Once they were in that roof colonnade, that was it. There was no way they were getting out. It meant death. But Jesus comes in and says, "I am the sheep gate, the true sheep gate, where you can come in and out and find pasture." There's not one way in. With me, Jesus says, you come in and you're going to go out because I will lay my life down for your sake. All right. Now, the next question we're going to look at is this. Why did Jesus ask the invalid man if he wanted to be healed? Now, what's your reaction to Jesus' question? And like I said here, many might think he is insensitive. They might even call the question stupid because they will be like, "Well, you know the guy's been here for 38 years. So how insensitive are you, Jesus, to ask this guy, do you want to be healed?" But we always forget one thing. Jesus is not like you and I. He is God, so he knows all things. And Jesus is mainly interested in what's inside your heart, the internal, not the external. See, people always, as people, we focus on what we see. Now, remember, in John 8:15, Jesus says something very profound. You judge by merely human standards. Basically, what he's saying is this. You as people, mankind, the way we judge things is we see what we see and we say, "Oh, this must be the truth." Jesus sees what's in your heart. Like he knows exactly what you're thinking, your thought life. He knows all about it. So basically, we as people judge based on what our eyes see. Jesus sees the heart of the person and what lies hidden beneath the surface. That's why he asked the man if he wanted to be healed. And to fully understand this, we must look at what Jesus tells him later on when he finds him in the temple. So we're going to look at it later on. All right. So keep that in the back of your mind. Now, one thing I want to talk about is this, like, what was the attitude of the Pharisees and what does it reveal? Now, the day Jesus healed the guy, and it's mentioned in John 8, verse 10 to 11, verse 10 to 11, in John 5 was the Sabbath, right? And the Jews said to the man who had been healed, "It is the Sabbath. It is not lawful for you to take up your bed." But he answered them, "The man who healed me, that man said to me, take up your bed and walk." So what does that say about those people? They were not concerned with this man's recovery into his health. All they were worried about was the fact that he broke There are man-made rule on the Sabbath. This man had been like this for like 38 years. And all these guys could see was that he carried his bed, and in their eyes, he broke the man-made rules they added to the initial law of the Lord. Basically, they did not care that this man had been healed. Like, it's like, oh, that doesn't even matter. You've been like that 30 years. We don't care. The thing is, you broke our law. And why did you break our law? You see, their attitude is like they don't care about what's really going on in this man's life. You see what I'm saying? Now, let's go a little step further. What about the man himself? What was his attitude, right? Now, the Jews said to the man, I'm going to go back to the same verse, who had been healed. It is the Sabbath, and it's not lawful for you to take up your bed. But this is what he says to them. That man said to me, take up your bed and walk. The man who healed me, that man said to me. He doesn't even know or even acknowledge Jesus. So from what I've read in the verses above, this man is just answering questions as if what just happened to him was not a life-changing event. I mean, you've been stuck for 38 years, and all you can say is, that man who healed me, he told me to get up and walk. I mean, there's no sign of him rejoicing, running around, screaming about him being healthy now. It's almost like he's just going about his business as usual. A lack of gratitude and thanksgiving. He doesn't even know who Jesus is. He calls the man who healed me. He calls him the man who healed me. Now, do you see his attitude? It's like, look, I've been stuck like that for 30 years. Don't you think I'll be on the street running around with a microphone, shouting out everywhere that, yes, 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 I'm healed. I'm fine now. I'm okay. Yes, come and celebrate with me. Let's go out and party. Let's go have fun, because I was stuck for 38 years and now I'm fine. Like, this guy is not even talking about it. He's just going about his business like, oh, yeah, just like that. You see what I'm saying? That's the kind of attitude that I see. Now, I don't want to put anything that this man didn't do, but this is what I read. And when I read it, this is the interpretation that I'm giving. All right. Now, why did Jesus tell the man to stop sinning, or something worse may happen to him? Now, what could be worse, like I said, than being invalid for 38 years? I don't think Jesus was going to take away his physical abilities again. Now, Jesus is not like us. He's not like tit for tat. He doesn't do that to us. Like, he's not like that. But I think what the Lord meant was that this man had so lived his life in self-pity, depression, loneliness, that it became his identity. 38 years of the same way of living, and you build up, you kind of get comfortable with this kind of way of thinking where you're always depressed, pitiful. You just sit in that kind of mindset, and even when you're healed, you're still stuck. So even when he wasn't healed, I think he continued to be the same way. His body was physically healthy, but his heart and his inside was still polluted with self-pity and maybe anger. So now you understand why Jesus told him, do you want to be healed? It wasn't just the external. God is saying, do you want me to change the way you think? Do you want me to heal your heart? Basically, it was more like, do you want your heart to be healed? Because physical health didn't change this man a bit. You see the way he acted when he was healed, he was still just going about his business like as if nothing ever happened to him. Now, what does Jesus mean when he says something worse may happen to you? I don't think, like I said, that he's going to take away his physical health again, but this is what's going to happen. I'm thinking he's referring to eternal separation. This man needed to repent of his self-pity and ungrateful heart. He needed to change the way he thought. He needed to be grateful, and he was so ungrateful and just that self-pity just robbed him of any joy. He was just very depressed. And where's the punchline? This is the punchline to me. Like, that's the way I was acting, like that man, when we entered the new house. I should have been jubilating, like I said, thanking God for taking me out of the land of Egypt and captivity. That's what I called it. But I became almost numb, and I just was just like, it's all right. You know, I wasn't like excited. I mean, God has just given me a new place, nice place, and I should have been excited, but I was so just caught up in my own way of thinking that I was just, I just treated it so casually. And that's the same attitude, like ungratefulness ingratitude and just this no care, just give me more, I want more, this is not enough. Like it's almost like it wasn't sufficient. You see what I'm saying? And remember, the people of Israel, when they were rescued from Egypt, they did the same thing. They complained about the food. They complained all the time. And then they even went as far as saying, we want to go back to the way things were in Egypt. We want to go back. So their heart wasn't changed. Even though they saw all the miracles, nothing ever changed inside their heart. And that's one thing that God doesn't like, is being so ungrateful that you don't even appreciate the things that he gives you, the sun, the moon, your breath, everything. We get up every day and then we assume that things should be this way for us. No, we don't deserve any of it. And these are my concluding words. There are tons of people like that invalid man, including I, who dwell in self-pity. And that's how they get attention. Like this dude was so used to that kind of stuff that he almost craved the attention. I have no one to help me. And there's people like that. They claim they want to be healed, but in all honesty, they enjoy the attention they get from people. And sometimes I think we do them a disservice in their lives. We listen to them, we continue to acknowledge it instead of saying, get out of it. God is saying, get out of that way of thinking. And we need to learn from Jesus and ask him to reveal what's in the hearts of those people, and even in our own heart, so that we can properly repent and say, we want to be changed from the inside out. Because the external is only a reflection of what's going on inside your own heart. When you begin to just dwell on so much of that self-pity, that depression, then you remain stuck there, and you want people to keep saying, oh, we understand, we understand. Yes, I don't want to be insensitive to your needs, because I know I was there too, to some extent. But God is saying, look, I've given you plenty to rejoice, to be happy about, to be grateful about. Begin to be more grateful, and things will change. And look to him, because he's willing to change, to give you that healing that you so desire. You see, he has put eternity in the hearts of men. Like he wants us to seek him. But then we look for other people to give us this attention. Like you say, we want that interaction from a horizontal point of view. We never look at the vertical. And as a result, we dwell in that self-pity. And God says, enough of it. All right? Enjoy the rest of the day.